One of the clearest stories of awakening that I've ever encountered is the story of Lady Chiyo, who is considered the first female Zen master. She lived in the 13th century. Her story is that she was carrying water to the temple in a bamboo bucket, and she had been doing this for many years, and then one day the bottom falls out of the bucket. Like, it's made of bamboo, the strips that hold it together had weakened, and the bottom falls out, all the water comes out, and it's just empty, and she realized her true nature in that moment. I find it clear because whether it's a bottom falling out of a bucket or a door opening, there's a sense of spaciousness or access or openness that opens into unknowing, knowing being a structure that's mentally defined. The bottom falls out, and we realize that it's empty. And in a sense, if you think about a bucket that you use to carry water, it can only contain that limited amount of water. If the bottom falls out, there's no boundary anymore, bottomless, topless, and what it contains is everything, because the space inside the bucket is the same as the space outside of it, and it's infinite. So we realize that the container that we call self, that we imagine ourselves to be, ego being a clinging to that structure, and awakening being relaxing and eventually releasing that structure so it falls apart, and the self is seen to be unimportant. That when it opens, what it opens to is a state that I call not knowing. It's not unintelligent or mindless in the sense of being ignorant or uninformed. It's the very source and substance of all form, of all thought. When I woke up, it was like that, where it wasn't an experience. There wasn't a subject and an object that it happened to. I wasn't there when it happened. It was just all of a sudden it was the case. And I didn't know anything. All of a sudden, it's like my bucket, I almost want to say it's like my brains had leaked out of my ears and were gone and my head was empty. It's not that. Astounded by spaciousness, and yet no one there to really be astounded. So it's just like a reverberation into emptiness, just kind of like your jaw drops open and you don't really know what it is. We've seen movies where, I don't know, I'm imagining like Jurassic Park. Back then, the CGI effects were really impressive. But I remember a scene where they're going through this jungle kind of terrain, and they open up onto this vast expanse of jungle that's on the island, and there's a brontosaurus in front of them, and it's massive. Can you imagine how big that creature is? Just your jaw drops. And it's a sense of spaciousness and like, what, like WTF, what is that? With a brontosaurus, you could eventually define what it is and understand it, and then it becomes fairly commonplace. When I woke up, it's like your jaw drops and it never, then there's no jaw, there's no anything. Sometimes Shunyata is called a full solid emptiness. It's utterly peaceful. When I woke up, it was like whatever remnant there was of self was just kind of looking at it like, what? Kind of just falling away. It still astounds me in a certain way when I think about it. I moved to get up, and yet it moved. There was no I, there was just it. Whatever it is what we are. It's everywhere, it's everything. It knows us in our particulars. It's highly compassionate and I would say intelligent, but it's off the chart. It's not even anything we could possibly grasp. So just like the bamboo bucket falling apart, there's a poem that she wrote about her awakening experience, Lady Chiyo, where the bucket was being held together with bamboo strips, and they weakened and then it fell apart. The bottom fell out. There's a sense that she had practiced for many years and was trying to hold it together. So hold the bucket together. It's holding self together is the idea. And when the bottom falls out, there aren't any words. There's just this presence and a peacefulness. There's no end to it. There's no beginning, no end. It happened to me in the middle of the night, actually. It happened while I was sleeping. I know Eckhart Tolle describes his experience of awakening in The Power of Now. I think it's in the introduction where he says that he had this insight about self and ego disappeared, and he, as he describes it, fell into a vortex, and he fell asleep. And the next thing he knew was the next morning, and he heard a bird singing outside his window, and he said, if a diamond could make a sound, that's what it would sound like. Just beautiful, perfect. My experience was similar just in the way that I was asleep when it happened. And when I woke up out of sleep, I literally was different. And there was kind of a memory of what the mind used to do and how it used to call itself something and act important or whatever that was. I just remember being struck by it. It's like you're saying, what is it? I don't know what it is. The question, what is it? I don't know what it is. The thought arises, what is it? I don't know what it is. Unknowing. Thoughts just disappearing like leaves, like flowers. It's incredibly beautiful. It's just surrender. This no mind is so different. So I didn't know what to do exactly, but I got up to go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and see, like, did I still have a face? I didn't think that exactly, but kind of. Again, it's what is this, but it doesn't get answered except by that presence. The answer is the presence. What is this? I don't know. Oh, we're not used to that. I wasn't used to it. So I felt like a hollow bucket. There's kind of a sense of self, but I could say it's open on both ends, or it's like a house where both the front door and the back door are open, and it's just infinite space within and without and everywhere. There's a house, but it doesn't contain anything. There's a bucket, but it's empty. It's like that. There's no content except this presence. So I got up to go in the bathroom and look in the mirror, and it's probably about 3 a.m. It's in the middle of the night, really quiet and still. It was clear to me that when I got up, it got up. There was no self. This would be like you're sitting enjoying nature and a breeze blows. Just a gust of breeze comes by. Maybe it stirs the leaves or something a little bit. Very nice. I would say I'm not doing that. It's doing that, and I'm that. That which is, and there's no self. No self. It's doing it, and I don't even know. And the not knowing is obvious, and it's just every moment not knowing. So I get up, I yet not I. I feel that. I live yet not I. No self. Unobstructed peacefulness, awareness, freedom. It gets up. I talked about this a little bit in the Bad Gap interview with Rick Archer. It gets up. What is that? See, that's a thought. What is that? There's a subject-object. I want to understand what that is. It's always a thought. I'm making this gesture because it has this, I almost want to say an encrusted form. Like it's some crusty old piece of crap that you pulled out of your closet, out of your basement. I've talked about it being like a hoarded house. It's like pulling something that you've hoarded off the pile. There are no new thoughts. They just get recycled. And then it's fresh and new again. What is it that's fresh and new? I don't know. That doesn't mean it's not real. It means that which is, and this is it. It's moving to me because I really don't know anything. It doesn't mean that I'm ignorant. It means there's no I. There's no bucket. There's no container. Or whatever there is doesn't contain anything. Unless, as if to say, a house with the front and the back door open contains all space. That makes sense to me. Maybe it flows through it, but it's the same space, inner, outer, everything, right now, all the time. And there's no time. There's just now. So it gets up to go look in the mirror. And I remember, I'll just use the word I because it's convenient, but it was dark, so I flipped the light on and I was looking in the mirror. I was 33 years old. This is 2002. I remember going like this. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and there's no self. It'd be like looking down some dark tunnel into infinity and the back door's open, the front door's open, just space looking. No form, no self. There's a face and it is stroking its beard. It is amused with itself. What is that? I don't know. It is. That is it. What is it? I don't know. I keep saying that. We want to know what it is, don't we? We want to know what anything is. We cannot know. So it's looking at itself in the mirror. I'm reminded of Walt Whitman, the poetry of Walt Whitman, where he says something about admiring himself. The poem Song of Myself is not about ego. It's about this mystical I and how it reflects, in a sense, off of objects, including the self, and is nothing other than that. So whatever self is there is really just consciousness. And the form of it is kind of like, well, what is it? Say thoughts arise. What is it? And usually, what do? We define it. Again, I'm making this gesture. Thoughts arise. What is it? Oh, it's an orange. Or, oh, it's a pencil. Or, I'm this thing. You know, I have a historical significance, and I was from this town, and I lived so many years, and yada, yada. We can still do that. It's witnessing those forms as empty. They don't mean anything. We can refer to them. So like the shape of the earth, if I'm going to navigate around the globe, maybe I'm a pilot, I need to know how to get from Greenland to Australia or whatever. It helps to map it and to know the general shape of what I'm dealing with there. That doesn't mean that's what it is. It means it's a map, and the map is not the territory. So the map of self is not who we are. I'm looking in the mirror, it's looking, it's amused. See, it's beautiful and it's kind, and it's curious, even outrageous in a sense. Like, what is it? I don't know. Who are you? What is this? We're having tea together. What are you doing today? I'm having tea. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, because whatever it is empty. I'm sitting here. It's almost like I'm wearing some kind of weird helmet and sitting on a granite throne, and it's like, I don't know what that is. It's a concept. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's constantly unknowing itself. There's no self. It's just in this world, these thoughts arise, these forms appear and disappear. And when we allow them, it's delightful. It's not nothing. Someone asked Jesus, what is the sign of the kingdom? And he says, a movement within stillness. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror. That goes on for a moment. I don't know who I am. It is and it knows. And it knows because it is, not because it's formed a concept. There's a big difference there. There are thoughts, then there's the spacious awareness. The spacious awareness is what it is, and in that sense knows what it is. And it's infinite. It's absolutely perfect. It already is, and that is the reality of this moment at all times. So it's looking at itself. It turns the light off, goes back into the room, lies back down. And I remember my partner at the time had been asleep, and I hadn't said anything. It was all very quiet. And yet the presence was intense. Joel Goldsmith has a book called The Thunder of Silence. It was like that. Like solid, perfect, obvious, serene. I almost want to say crystalline. It's hard to explain it. Just pure and perfect, not knowing. It woke her up out of sleep. There's spiritual awakening, and then there's just waking up out of slumber. So I went back into the room, I lay down, it was all very quiet. And I could tell she was awake. It's like I could feel her presence, her awareness, like she was looking at me or something. And she said, "What just happened?" And it's like the old me, almost like grooves in a record, you know? The old mental pattern. I was going to say, well, I woke up and this happened. I went in the bathroom and did this and looked at this and that. And I don't know what it is. There was this story that was, in a sense, wanted to unfold. And what it said was, the thought was, I woke up and yada, 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 yada. What it said was, I woke up. The rest of it didn't come out. I would say I don't know who did that, except I would say I did that. And the unknowing of awakened consciousness is that. And that's what this is. So when I talk like this, it's speaking. Eckhart Tolle has a book called Stillness Speaks. That's literally the case. It's paradoxical that stillness would speak. Yeah, I woke up. So she said, "What just happened?" And I said, "I woke up." It's like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop and there ain't nothing. Just, I woke up. Like imagine the Grand Canyon, just this utter stillness of that. That said that. I had no control. There was nothing left. Ego is based on this illusion of control, that it tells a story and it could manage things. It's gone. So I said, I woke up, and there was this pregnant pause, you might say, and she said, "You mean spiritually?" I guess she knew enough about me to know that that was something had been pursuing for years and practicing on and working at and talking about and studying and so on, investing in. I feel a certain self-involvement talking about it. It's just that it's everywhere. So, you talk about yourself a lot. It's like, well, what else is there? But it's not exclusive. Ego is exclusive. It closes itself off and there's everyone else. This is everyone, everywhere, all the time, everything. It's utterly connected. It's fascinating. In a sense, it's fascinated with itself, but there's no attachment. There's no knowledge. There's just obviousness. So that was the beginning of that. So when she said, "You mean like spiritually?" I said, "Yeah." And that was kind of it. I guess we went back to sleep. I don't know. There's a lot that happened after that. A lot of physical symptoms of intense energy flowing through me and going for walks in the desert at dawn. It would get up and go for walks and look. I'd never seen it that way. Showing me everything, how people live, the tone of it, the texture of it. So the bottom fell out of the bucket. So I'm not sure I'm conveying it accurately. I don't know if there's any way to, really. But I really like that description. One day the bottom fell out. The bamboo had worn itself out. It fell away. Before I woke up, I thought I had something to say, something maybe even to teach, something that I knew that I could impart. I thought maybe I would write a book. I had a sense that I wanted to be a teacher, and I was interested in spirituality. I knew in some sense I wasn't ready. I had a good teacher who basically told me I wasn't ready. That's important. I've heard it said that when the Buddha woke up that he, among other things, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's as if he said, "Oh man, no one's going to get this. No one's going to believe this. I can't convey this. It's utterly impossible." And yet he taught. So it took probably about a year for me to integrate it. It's really spacious and delighted with itself. All the forms that we experience are it. So it sees itself everywhere. It's amazing to meet people like at the grocery store. You don't meet them formally, but you may exchange a word or a look. You speak to someone, and it's so interesting that they're that same one consciousness. And it's like we're wearing masks, like social masks. It's like, who are you behind there? We kind of want to know. And the illusion is that there is something to know about people that's mind identified, that's some kind of object. And the fact is, it's this spacious awareness that, in a sense, knows itself because it is that is everyone. So I find a certain intimacy with people. It's like a happiness, but it's like, hi, how are you? Like, I know you. But I don't say that. You don't say that to people. Part of life is this sense that we don't know each other, that we're separate, and we're kind of wrapped up in our own little programs. That's really okay. I didn't start teaching for a few years. I don't even really remember. I started writing a book after a couple of years, and I kind of didn't want to do it. It's really hard to express this stuff articulately. I had to find out what I thought about it. I didn't even know what that was really until I wrote the book. The words are just guidelines, they're pointers. I pursued a deliberate path. Some people wake up spontaneously. I've seen that, and that's beautiful. Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, and others I've seen who outwardly had no interest in spirituality, and for whatever reason were able to recognize the self as empty and wake up and then just be that. I pursued a deliberate path, and anyone who's listening to this video is pursuing a deliberate path if they listen to it and they're following it, because that's what it is. You hear about it and you want it, or you want to realize it, or you feel something's missing in life, or you're not fulfilled or not satisfied. So I use words that point toward a process that is more of a deliberate process of practice.